three values to have. That is something that brings you confidence, and that can brings you also knowledge of managing your money. If you have to, let's say that you know your liability, how much money you owe, all that stuff, how much money you have in the banks. So in certain point, you can have some of this money moving from one place to another, only because you know that they exist over there. A very simple thing I can tell you that. Let's say that you have some money in your bank account for some savings. If you put some savings in a saving account, and okay, I have over there $800. I'm not going to touch them. I have them over there. But you see that the balance of some credit cards are getting out of control, and you can start making some decision. Okay, on that account, I have some money. Can I have some from there and put it toward the credit card? Or maybe you know that some credit cards have available money. You say, okay, I'll borrow from that credit card, but I'll feed this. Only to have it in a way of balancing your the situation. Yeah. And for one of the points there I have about the credits. When I was trying to find the way to, that's actually about the credits, how to deal with the credits. I was trying to find a picture for myself, how to make a picture for, to see what the credit looks like. And one of the things I came with was that the credit is like an ocean. It can feed you, it can refresh you, it can carry you on the credit, and it can kill you. So, and then don't go to the deep water if you cannot swim. So this was my slide for the credits. So credit can be a really good thing, but if you cannot control it, it can take your, it can kill you sometimes. It can bring your attention. And the other picture that I have is tame your credit. It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. When your credit starts misbehaving, be aware. It is like a hungry dog. Feed him regularly, and you both will be safe. So that's another thing to think about the credits. And the other thing is treat your credit as an ill friend. Visit him regularly and bring him something to feel good. One day, he might be helping you too. So this is the credit thing. Yeah, so that was one of the topic about the credit. So where the credit can come from, and the sources for credits. We covered that the credit can come from the banks, can come from your putting some liens on your home, on your assets, and actually we cover that. Though it's a very good point that before you go to the credit, it's a good idea to go to all the free sources. So make sure that you ask all these questions about the free sources. And sometimes people are deciding if they have to pay the credit, if they have a house, and the question is, should I pay my house, or should I invest in my RSP, or should I invest in my business? And that's the biggest question, and most often, people are coming with this question. Each time, I believe there is, again, a point of talking about priorities. So when we are dealing with returning money and putting money for investments, there is values that we have to compare. First, the value is if I invest for, let's say, for my RSP, let's say that I have some money, should I put them towards my credit in the house, or should I invest them? That's something that often people should decide. And nowadays, some of the investments are having such a low, interest to appreciate that might not make much sense to invest. Maybe it's better to return the loan. But in the other thought that I've been having is that many years ago one guy told me, does the bank really need that money? So that if you have to decide each time for the same $500, should you put them in the investment or put them to the house? I would advise you to decide, are you going to need cash in the next 1 to 3 years? If you put the money towards the house, you cannot get easily cash from there. So if you have credits like paying the house or paying some business loan or paying some loans, make sure that you decide if you'd like to pay the complete mortgage or pay in full or make little payments and keep cash available. Am I clear what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about lump sum money?
Lump sum money. Let's say that you make a lot of money in your business, like $2,000, and you decide, okay, $2,000 I can put them towards my credit, my house. Okay? And the priority in that moment should be like decided, can I afford to put that money and leave myself without any cash? Understand the point? Yeah, so that's something that is for each case. You have to decide, does it make sense, that credit to be returned? And there is a different credit, so there is a different places to have credits. And make sure that you take a decision. If you take some credit, to take it for the value, to put it towards value. So the best thing is to have credit for the house, not to pay the, that's a good thing to have the cash, to pay cash for the house. But if you have to take some money as a loan, make sure that with this loan, with that money, you are buying something that has value, that appreciates with value. So that's the difference when we're taking mortgages and we put it for a house that appreciates in value. If we take money and we spend it for something that does not appreciate, that's our money that are more expensive money. We're paying interest. Okay? Then, so that's are the thoughts about credits that I wanted to share with you. Any questions about the credits that it comes to you? And I'm trying to cover much more things.
I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you own a house and you want to take out like the home equity line of credit that you have built up and liquidity, is it a wise decision to take out the money and invest it in your business or not?
It is a wise decision in the beginning of the business because it's usually with a prime interest, with a 3% or lower, the 3.5. It's a wise decision because you're going to pay much less. If you have a chance to separate that, let's say if you have one of this line of credit that you can separate, so the amount that you borrow now is in a different account. Some of the accounts, like Manulife One, they have this, like you can actually, the 3% that you are paying towards that amount, you can put it as a deduction as a business investment. So that's a good thing to do. Otherwise, if you go to the business loan, you have to prove that your business is really worth giving some money, and they're giving loans up to about $5,000 to $10,000. But you have to prove that you have receivables, and you have a valuable idea about the business, that you have clients, that you have running business, and they can give you $5,000 to $10,000 of operating line of credit. Usually it is, the lowest interest rate is about 7.5, the worst. So you pay more, and it's not considered investment. When you're taking it from the house, you can deduct the interest. There is some accounting tricks over there that you can ask the accountant how to put it, and you have to put it in a separate account. I'm not sure. It depends which bank you have it.
Scotia, my mortgage is with Scotia.
Okay. And you have a line of credit that is towards
I've
the
not
house.
done it, as of right now, I'm not done, I'm just thinking about it, so that's all I wanted to.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing with the houses is that if the house is really in a, you know, it's a place that not every place in Toronto and around is really appreciating in the same steady way. There's places and apartments that stay the same, like $80,000. That's it. Then the most they can go $100,000. But if it's a property that appreciates in value, it can offset itself. It can, you know, grow in value faster than your loan. I'm not sure. Do you understand how this works? Yeah. So you might continue borrowing against your house in the future, only because it is a good property, and it's a good way to, you know, to manage. But you have to be very careful if you know what you're doing. Whether not to be in a position, oh, I don't have enough payment, enough money to pay. But that can save you interest for sure. Yeah. Anything else around the credits? Let me see if I have some more notes around the credits. Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure there is in Canada, but in my country, if you have a good agreement with one customer, you can show the bank this agreement that you can take the credit again. Is
Yeah.
that possible here?
Yeah, if you have a business, actually all the lawyers, they're having their clients on as their assets. Right? If you know, that's the same rule. So if you have a client that is your a client for a long time and you have a contract with them,
Oh, yeah.
and
Contract.
contract, yeah. If you,
How can we call this kind of credit?
it depends what you're asking for. You can go to the bank and you can ask them for operating line of credit, which is operating line of credit is something that you show them that this client will pay you in the future. So you have a receivable. So you're offering them services. They're going to be received, money are going to be received in the future. So for the operating line of credit, it's really important to the bank to prove that you have receivables, that you have enough clients. Let's say that you're in a business. I'm not sure if you have any consulting with businesses here or any people who are like working on the long term with the clients. But let's say some client that is coming every month is going to pay you something for the services, and you have a contract with them. You show them that you have a contract and this person already paid. It's better to show that the client already paid, and you go to the bank and show them, here it is, I'm expecting for my continuous service to continue receiving this amount of money, and they, you know, they see that you have 5 clients, for example, and you're expecting
What is the
5,000.
interest?
Hmm?
How is the interest?
The interest is around 7.25 usually. It might be more or less, depends on the decision of the bank. The bank is going to look at your history, your own history. Plus they have some guidelines for new businesses. They might ask for a little lower or a little higher. It depends on their guidelines. Sometimes they have promotion, and they would say, you know, for new businesses, we give a lower interest rate, like prime plus 4.5. Sometimes they might say, oh no, we don't have available money for new businesses. We're gonna give prime plus 7, and they can give you 10%. So it depends on the bank, and you go and shop around. Royal Bank is a really good bank for businesses. They have a history of you know, good established relationships with businesses. Even, you know, they've been maybe the most like working with businesses, and that's a good bank to look for. But other banks also follow it, and they are serving small businesses. So, and if you have a bank that you know somebody in the bank, and you are a regular yeah, please go to the banks. Go to the banks regularly. I'm serious about this. Keep money in your hands. When we keep money in our hands, the money are coming easier. But there is something about bringing money to the banks. When you start bringing, if you have one check, $100, go to the bank and deposit it. the more they see you, the better relationships you establish with there. And if you open a business account, go and deposit money to this account. When you establish, that relationship, especially if the bank knows you already, if you're a personal client to somebody, they are more willing to give money to people that they know.
And they're more willing to help you to get it.
Yeah.
Because you're a familiar face. They can
Yeah.
see your traffic, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they'll be able to say,
They can
you're
see.
bringing traffic
Yeah.
in. So, and it's
Yeah.
good for them too, right?
Yeah, they have to establish trust.
Yeah,
They have
exactly.
to give money to somebody who they trust. And if they can see, how you're managing and you're there every day, they are easily giving you the money.
Okay, any other questions about this?
Well, I mean, people who don't, if you're doing a lot of online banking,
Mhm.
well, they're not going to see much of
There
it.
is no.
However, they kind of see how you pay your bills,
Mhm.
and if you're a good customer, you pay your bills on time, because that's one of the things that whenever I have to talk to somebody in the bank, that's what they say, would you like some more line of credit, would you like some more money on your credit card because you're a good customer?
Yeah,
So even if you don't go, they kind of have an idea of who you are because
It's true.
they look at your pattern of payment.
yeah, it's true. Though, keep in mind that when they see your face, it's a personal thing, There are people
I
over
haven't been
there.
in a bank in a long time.
So stop. Take some cash and go there, or go only to meet them.
It's done online.
Yeah.
Actually, the different kind of bank interest in different kind of sector. Actually, some bank interest in.
Did you
the-
say that again? Different kind of
I'm so
bank?
sorry.
No.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Different kind of bank?
Actually, I'm not sure if I'm wrong. Please say, but I'm saying experience from my country.
Okay.
Actually, any kind of bank interest in the money, but they are interested in different kind of sector. Some of them mining sector, some of interest small business, some of interest in the, for example, textile. So any kind of bank has a specialist for the one sector, and they make
Actually, that's-
different kind of
yeah.
promotion. For example, you say Royal Bank interest in small business
Yeah.
means they give lots of chance for us, but Scotiabank interest in the big company.
Yeah. They,
So,
the specialized.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe you know very good friendship, you know someone from Scotiabank, very good relationship you have, but their they couldn't do because
they're looking for bigger
end of the
businesses.
year manager should give to their I couldn't say
Yeah, to their
bonus.
clients.
Well, yeah. To
Yeah,
bring in
because the
clients.
Bank has a
Like a
target
target.
too.
Yeah, that's true. That in the past, actually, when like 20 years ago, when I've been starting with the first businesses, that was very true. And in the last 10 years, many of the activities of the banks started towards like all of them wanted to get something with the small businesses. Historically, small businesses has never been in such a number like now. Now is the time of small businesses. And this is what all the banks realize, that everybody is able to open a small business, and if they're not there, they're going to lose their client, they're going to go towards to some other banks. So this is what happened with Scotiabank. Many years ago, they started approaching people for small businesses and started giving some accounts for small businesses. So before, like 20 years ago, TD was specializing in real estate. And later, when they realized that yes, the small businesses are growing, they started going out of the real estate and going closer towards giving something to the small businesses. And they opened their line of credits, like equity line of credits and investments. So now they're almost all of them are with everything. Still, you're right that they might be more or less specialized. yeah, Royal Bank was for a longer time in the business. But you can have good relationship with some of the bank and some of the person here in the bank, and you can be able to, to approach them for your loans because you know them. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to share this. I remember this from my father when he was starting his own business.
Mhm.
And he was also employed, but his own bank was giving him, like my parents' own bank was giving him not a good rate.
Mhm.
And so he just went down the mall to the other bank,
Mhm.
and they said, what will you do for us, right? And he was like, well, we'll bring over our RSPs and we'll bring over our mortgages as soon as it comes for renewal. And
Yeah.
it was like done. And he
Yeah.
got it for like, at that time, prime.
Yeah. You see, so.
And they moved, and then the other people were chasing him. And he was like, no.
So you see, so again, it's relationships.
No, there was no relationship. That was the thing.
Yeah, but they
You
they
can
established they started the relationship. Yeah, they wanted that client, so they started it and they give them.
Yeah, but
So-
sometimes people take you for granted. So you've got to know even your other.
Yeah.
Like your mortgage is worth something to that bank.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
RSPs are worth something to that bank. It's not like now they can act like, oh, you're asking
So-
them for something.
So you see, maybe the person in that bank didn't realize that they have to value the clients.
Yeah, no, they did. They thought
Yeah.
this person's here, been here forever. They'll never leave.
Yeah, they're so comfortable with being here, they'll,
Yeah.
they won't rock the boat.
Marie,
Mhm.
sorry ladies, I'm going to cut out and leave you. I am going home, I am past exhaustion.
Okay.
Michael is here,
Okay.
so you'll probably wrap up at around 8:50.
Yeah, around
So
yeah.
you
We're
can
gonna
get out?
we're gonna finish around.
Good night ladies, and I will
Good
see
night.
you, some of you Saturday morning in class.
Bye bye, Cohen. Thank you. Right. I'm saying bye, my love to you. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me a chance to meet these ladies.
No problem, very awesome.
Bye-bye.
Okay, now the last thing that we have to cover is the risk management. How do you feel about this? Risk management. What do you think death is? Is this risk or it's something given?
It's a fact of life.
Hmm?
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable, okay. Some other thoughts on sicknesses and death?
Death can be a profit, as horrid as much as that sounds, actually can be a profit.
Okay.
Am I lying? Because it's true, you have will, you have money put aside, you have insurance for when, God
Yeah.
forbid, it's
Yeah, you can
it's
get
money,
some money
right?
out of
So
it.
sorry, it's true.
It's true that you
Good
can get
value.
some money out of it, yeah.
I'll say.
Okay, so I'll tell you how I look at risks. I think that when we talk about risk, we have to connect it with something. So, and this is how I connect it. Any moment in your life, you think of your future plans. The longer, the better. If you have plans for 10 years ahead, I have plans for my kids to be grown up and have kids, their own kids, and have successful business and travel a lot and have this ability to travel all over the world and have a beautiful house and have my house paid up and my car paid and to be good with good friends. And I want you to close your eyes and to think what you'd like to be in the next 20 years. Close it, 20 years. So close your eyes and imagine who are your friends at that time. Close your eyes. Think, dream. Girls dream, we have to start dreaming. There is a Dream Institute. I think that that's the best thing we have to do. Start dreaming, dreaming. Come on, dream time. Dream time, dream. How your house looks like in 20 years or in 10 years, whatever you decide, in 10 years, 20 years, 5 years. Whatever you decide, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, decide how your house look like.
Is too short.
How your car look like. What are the clothing in your wardrobe? Where are you going for lunch? Come on, girls, dream. Dream. Okay. What are your people what are your clients look like? What is the income that you receive from your business? Are you dreaming?
I know, I dream it all the time.
Okay. Okay, do you have a vision board? Good. Okay, so dream something. So close your eyes and dream about your vision board and everything that you have on your vision board. Okay. Dream about the vacations you're taking and where your kids are going to school and what is your surrounding like. Do you have flowers around your home? Do you have garden? Do you want to have some expensive car, or you want to have only like, I don't know, going walking through the woods or around the ocean and having all the money in the world so you can afford walking for weeks around the ocean? Dreaming is maybe one of the biggest gifts that we have as people.
Because it's free.
Hmm?
It's free.
It's free, yeah.
Why not?
Plus, give us some meaning of life. Give us some meaning why we are doing all this business. And when we come to that point that we know that we'd like to experience that, we'd like to be in that life, we'd like to be in that ocean with his friends and with that successful business and everything to be like really built to that point. Then we have, okay, what might stop us from reaching that goals and that dreams? What is the thing that can stop us?
A lack of money, ill
Lack of
health,
money? Okay.
ill health.
Ill health.
Health,
Okay.
yeah.
Balance.
Balance. Okay.
Yeah.
Lack of action. Okay.
Caused by fear.
Caused by fear. Okay. Lack of action caused by fear. Okay. Okay.
We don't know the future, so it's hard.
Yeah. We don't know
That's,
that.
yeah, that's the big question.
What about sickness of a relative or a close family member? What about that? Yeah. What about the death of a family member?
And actually, for me, I'm just enough today.
Hmm?
I'm just
Enough
enough
has
effort
enough already.
just to.
You are thankful for today.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I believe that risk management. So that words are like, I don't like these words. They're not good words, but risk management should find some better words. So I would like to call it dream management. So if we have these dreams, or goal management, if we have these dreams and we have that goals, but a sickness, a death in the family, or something that happens with us
Unforeseen event.
might stop us. That is something that can stop us, and maybe after it we can continue. Statistically, they say that 78% of all these people that have cancer, they survive more than 5 years. And the other statistic is that 1 in 2.4 people, so every second man and every third woman is getting cancer. 1 in 2.4 is the last statistic from last year, so it means that maybe, and the previous statistics was 1 in 3, now is 1 in 2.4, so maybe soon statistic is going to be 1 in 2 is getting cancer in this continent, in this country. And the truth is that there is cure, people are overcoming it, they are going after it with their lives, but that stopped them. And sometimes they stop them.
I'm testament to that.
Are you?
Yes, because last year, this time last year, my future looked totally different
Wow.
from the way it looks today. You know, in the eyes of my family, they were picturing a future without me because they had to, you know.
Welcome back.
Yeah, you know, there's a commercial on TV that says I got sick and I got better, and she's talking about cancer.
Yeah.
And when I heard that commercial before, I would think to myself, nobody recovers from cancer, but I did.
Good.
I did.
What was the biggest challenge that you had to overcome?
The biggest challenge was probably, you mentioned earlier on forgiving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a big part of it was me learning to forgive myself, because I had never been that vulnerable before,
Mm-hmm.
where my family was now having to take care of me. I did all the taking care of, both
Yeah.
financially, emotionally, physically. You know, I was not the one who got sick
Yeah.
in my
yeah.
family.
No
And
right to
suddenly
sick, yeah.
I had no choice
Yeah.
but to allow them. And
Yeah.
that took a little bit of self-forgiveness. I felt guilty that I couldn't jump around the way that
Yeah.
I
So you
did before.
have to go through that forgiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and forgiveness actually, they say that many of the sicknesses connected with cancer, you know, many of the situations is because of forgiveness.
Yeah.
People who cannot forgive themselves or cannot forgive their relatives,
Yeah.
they develop tumors and cancers. And
And
that's-
you don't heal if you sort of depress
yeah, yeah.
yourself.
If you keep that
Or I
poison.
should say, to put it positively then, you
Yeah.
heal so much easier, so much quicker,
Yeah.
almost miraculously, if you adapt a sense of, it sounds so ridiculous to say fun,
Yeah.
you know, when you're sick, but I did that. I did a lot of laughing, I did a lot of joke telling, I did a lot of smiling,
Yeah.
in order to encourage those who were trying to support me. And it's a strange thing.
Yeah.
You
and
don't equate that with being sick, you know, but
having fun is a
when
big
you
thing.
realize that some people can't come around you because they don't want to see you sick, then you have to find ways to make them feel like it's not that bad,
Yeah.
you know, and I got better.
How did you manage with money and that? Was it a challenge for you?
Very, very challenging.
Very challenging.
But it brought me to where I am now,
Yeah.
you know, because I tried going back to work too soon,
Mhm.
and I relapsed and was diagnosed again with a separate cancer.
Oh, no.
And then after that, now I tried going back to work and realized that I just appear so overqualified for the jobs that I'm trying to apply for, because I'm willing to start at entry level, but my
Mhm.
resume does not say that.
Yeah.
My resume says, you know, I've managed $1 million businesses for other people,
Yeah.
but the jobs that I'm applying for, because I feel that age is against me, the time that I've been out of work is against me, so I'm willing to start a little bit low, but the resume doesn't quite say that.
Yeah.
So that's what's brought me to this point where I said, I need to do it for myself.
That's
So,
congratulations.
and I
for
think all of that, the whole year, brought me to that. Whereas my entire life I wanted to own my own business, but there was never any reason to, because I had a comfortable job. My husband had a great
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
You know, we were okay. So there was no reason to. Remember the Tuesday night, I said you have to have a why.
Mhm.
And when you have a good why,
Yeah.
you're doing it, then that makes it really, you know, achievable.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But
that,
then sometimes too, things force you to make that decision.
does.
Because that may not have been your role.
like, yeah,
And
no
sometimes
choice.
when we get comfortable in the positions we are, especially when we're in corporate, we go to work every day, but in our hearts, we don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And those of us who have creative beings, your mind is constantly racing
Always.
on the creativity of what the inspiration. And so therefore, you're in a 9 to 5, but you stay there because
It's
it
comfortable.
pays the bill and it's comfortable. And
Yeah.
you know, I remember saying to one of my staff members, like when we had to let her go, but she never wanted to be there. And I said to her, sometimes it's the doors that are closed that forces you to go and open another door that you really want,
Exactly.
you know.
Circumstances have to push you out.
Out,
Yeah.
right.
For you to get out of your comfort zone and then start, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
attacking the challenges. And then you realize they're not even challenges anymore. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. And when they say that we have to be thankful for all the biggest challenges, because sometimes the challenges that are coming are actually our step on, you know, stepping stones. Yeah. And there was a very nice saying that I heard from that that makes me so like empowered. They say, turn your shit into manure. So whatever happens to you, if you start analyzing, okay, all this happens to me. Let's see now how I'm going to feed myself on that. Then let me turn it into manure. So and often in life, this experience is given to maybe to pass it to other people and to give it to some way as service that you're missed to give that service, and now you're empowered, you're pushed. And the other thing they say that a kick in the butt is a 2 steps so ahead. Sometimes they're kicked from the corporate, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a self-employment, and you build your business. And the truth is that every person who is millionaire and successful in this world have their own business.
Yes.
They have their own businesses. So come on, you're in the millionaires group now. Okay. And I would like to go back to the risk management, and actually, if we can use your story, if in that case when that happened, and you said that you've been going through many challenges, but financial challenge is one of them. Do you think that if you have to help somehow, let's say if you come to me and say, Maria, you cannot help me much, but can you give me a check to help me? Do you think that if I brought you a check of $50,000 or $25,000, if that's something that might help the situation? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I went from a stage of being the person who was always helping others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that no one was ever shy to come to me for help.
Yeah,
No one was ever
exactly.
shy.
You've been available all the time.
But when I needed help, I realized that there was nobody.
Yeah.
Because people assumed that I was okay. And I think I've always done that, even, when I was a child. You know,
With a guardian.
people assumed that I was okay because I didn't speak much, and I was very strong, and I always helped others.
Yeah.
So, we should always be, it's okay to be vulnerable, even while you're protecting yourself, so that you can get some help.
Some help, yeah. And
I've never heard anybody say that, even though you're doing it in a hypothetical situation,
Mhm.
where you say to me, if I could give you a check
yeah,
of whatever. I've never had anyone,
yeah.
say that to me, and most of us won't, because we just, we protect ourselves by appearing to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what does un-okay look like?
What does unokay?
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
I totally understand what you're saying, but people don't come to approach you. So, okay, for example, if suppose that the situation you're in, right, and suppose I didn't know, for example, that you were sick, but you were trying to come to work. Sometimes you could still come to work, right? What does, for lack of words, what does I need help, or you can ask me, what does that look like? Because you don't wear some of us don't wear their sorrow. Do you understand what I mean? And just because I smile all the time doesn't mean that everything is good, and just because, okay, so I came and I bought lunch today, for all you know, I had to go through all the couch pillows to say, okay, $5 can get me a meal today. What does I need help look like? Because, I may not, my outer man might not show it, but I do need the help, and to me it's people's perception. We just judge people based on what we see on the outside. Like my famous saying at work is to people is, don't let the clothes fool you. You know what I mean? Because anybody could dress up sorrow,
Yeah.
right? So.
Yeah, but also in terms of a lot of the social services involvement that I have in terms of my clients, I mean, people still have nice clothes. Their life might be falling apart. You know, I mean, you still have those clothes, you still dress up, you still look nice, and you walk out the door.
Yeah.
I mean, poverty, or even other situations they're going through it is poverty, or sudden influx, like someone's lost their job or something. You still got everything else going on, or you know, someone walked out on you, or suddenly in a situation. You still got all this other stuff. This is not like that kind of appearance. Like here,
Yeah.
people don't appear that way. But you don't know what's going on. Sometimes the most put together people I have walk in to me and tell me their stories, and I'm like, I can't even believe you're going through that.
Yeah.
And no one in their life knows anything is wrong.
I would like to ask you a question. If we are women, usually we have this tendency to go and help others, but imagine yourself in that situation when you were able to help others. So imagine that person coming to you now, to you today. What is your name?
Janet.
Janet. Okay, Janet. Imagine Janet, 5 years younger Janet, coming to you. Would you ask that Janet for help?
The 5 years young.
The 5 years younger Janet. 5 years
Is
younger
Janet
Janet coming here next to you. Would you ask her for help?
I
No.
wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't, because it's the way that I am.
Okay, but do you think that she
Yes.
would come and give you help?
Yes, she would.
Okay?
Without knowing.
Yeah, but you
Without-
didn't ask.
But
so
she
you
would,
don't know.
she would
Without
seek
knowing?
to,
Without knowing?
she would seek
Yes
to
or no?
understand you and understand where you're at now, and she's inquisitive enough.
Okay.
She's
So I would
inquisitive
like
enough
to.
that she would ask you, you know, what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see what you're saying, that we give easier than we would ask for.
Yeah, and when we can imagine ourselves in the position when we are strong, when we have some money, doesn't matter if that money are in line of credit available from banks,
Right.
or in our credit cards and our debit cards, but we have some money. And let's imagine ourselves going to our older self, or ourself that might be in a position of being needed help. So that younger and person with money, do you think that that younger person would come to you and tell you, listen, let me help you? Your younger self. Your younger self, yeah?
I just think the notion of asking for help, there's 2 points. One, I think when we ask for things in our society, it makes you vulnerable, right? Like there's certain cultures where you're encouraged to ask, and then there's other cultures where you're discouraged to ask because it makes you vulnerable, it makes you needy. There's an association that we put in our society where if I ask for help, even if I needed food, right? It's like you don't ask because you don't want anybody in your business, right? Don't air your dirty laundry outside kind of mentality.
Yeah.
It's typically how all of us are grown, and that's why we judge.
Okay.
Right? That's why
And
prejudgments
that's a
happen.
very good comment
And
for
then-
what I want to tell
Right?
next.
And the second thing I was going to say is when we talk about being able to be approached for help or not, like I can take myself, I'm very transparent. So like I wear my emotions on my sleeve, that's me, right? But then we might have a sister like here where maybe she might not wear her emotions on her sleeves, or you don't even have to question or guess, it's just you don't ask that.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? So you sensitize. But at the same token, it's also about who's around you, like who your circle is. So you will know your comfort zones, like whoever is really in your circle who really knows you, you'll know who to go to, you'll know who to, but when we get outside of our circle, that's where we start to have the questions of the prejudgments or who's approachable, who's not approachable. You never know until you ask, right? So it's also about you and your personality. Like, why should I come to her and be like, are you okay? Like, where's that even coming from for you to ask me, am I okay? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you have
yeah.
to be mindful when we're talking about this stuff. It's also about your circle. It's also about what we understand as cultural society, you know, what's accepted,
Yeah.
what's not accepted.
Yeah.
And what we're taught from when we're young, don't beg, don't be beggy or,
Mm-hmm.
don't, you know what I mean? So we have to understand the roots of where these things come from. Because now in our adult lives, now we can analyze and say, oh yeah, don't do this, don't prejudge, don't do this. But then again, we kind of we're grown into it, and then we end up teaching it kind of consciously anyway. So.
And that's a perfect comment for what I wanted to tell you next. I've been through very disturbing experience like this. I went to divorce and separation when my youngest child was 3, the other was 8, and the other was 17, and I lost all of my friends. All of my friends left me. Nobody called me. Nobody. I'm with 3 kids, lost my income, lost everything. And they start judging me even. And at that point, I was at that situation. If I get sick, now, you know, divorce is worse than sickness. Divorce is worse than death, I can tell you. People who went, I had a friend who went over the death of her husband. She said, Maria, I see I'm going over this much faster than you're going through this, because I was in court 10 years, or 7 years? 7 years in court. Okay, but all this is draining you. And I thought, what might happen if I'm sick at that time? Nobody's calling. Nobody's helping, because people are usually a little bit, you know, like distant when when they see somebody that is miserable.
You sort of lose a half of your connections
Yeah, all
when
of
you
them.
divorce.
All of them.
Yeah, or
I can
all.
tell you, like
Yeah.
all of them. That was funny. I couldn't believe it, but that's what happened. And that's what I was asking myself that questions. And that's why I want you to imagine that at that moment I thought that me, at that moment that I was, you know, okay, I was like healthy, at least healthy. I would like to help myself if I'm sick at one point. And that is my way of seeing the so-called risk management. That is better to keep that in mind, that we might not be able to find somebody to help us.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The statistics that my last video I put some about statistics, I was devastated. Elderly couple are going through divorces mainly because the woman is sick.
Yeah.
That's statistic. And breast cancer. Breast cancer is the only cancer that is hitting all the other cancer are hitting the lower income families. Breast cancer is hitting higher income families. Women in higher income families.
And men don't stick around.
And men don't stick around for that. Yeah. So if I have to give you one piece of advice, is believe to, you know, continue believing that you yourself is going to be there for you, for your older self first, because might not be anybody around. And
Even your children,
your
like,
children.
it's
yeah,
serious,
even
like,
your children might not be there. That's why if you can do something for that risk management, if you can put some money aside in case of sickness, there are so many insurance policies available, you cannot believe it. There is insurance for cancer, insurance for long-term care, insurance for death, insurance for mortgages, insurance for loans. There is so many insurances. They can pay your mortgage, they can pay you cash, and
I
we
remember
can.
when I got my mortgage for my house 14 years ago, for the new home where we are, they asked us if we wanted to take out long-term illness insurance. And you know, I'm a big girl, I'm a little bit overweight and everything, but I was perfect in my eyes, health-wise. And my husband is this fat. He ain't ever getting sick, you know. And we said no. We were so confident that no, it's okay. We have insurance elsewhere, we'll be fine. And it was the first thing that I thought about when I got sick. I think I even called them because I couldn't believe I was so stupid that I did not take that insurance. But it was like the first thing I thought about to fall back on.
I can
and
tell
it
you
wasn't there.
something that, in brackets about that situation. There's a survey done from CBC about the mortgage insurance given from banks, which,
Okay.
it's not very enthusiastic. They're saying that the percentage of payments and the percentage of being approved for claim is close to no one. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's better to have your personal insurance
That's right.
because the personal insurance, they approve you, they underwrite. They do the underwriting in the beginning. They can check your blood, urine, the pulse, heart, everything, and they approve, and that's it. And if you disclose everything, you're approved. With the banks, they underwrite at the time of claim. And at that time, they show you something that have you been ever to a doctor? If you've been ever to a doctor, you don't qualify. And that's true. That's so that with the bank, you didn't spend your money at least. But something that I have experience with it, I've been 20 years in this industry selling insurance and the investments. And I realized how much that can save a dream of a person. I can tell a funny story with a client of mine who got his insurance, like, okay, it's not so much, okay, but I'm healthy, and he was at that time maybe close to 60, or maybe 59, 58, 59, so he got a small policy for critical illness insurance. At 65, he's calling me from the hospital, and he said, Maria, I think I have colon cancer. I'm going to go now to surgery. I said, why are you calling me? From the, why don't you call your wife? He said, I want to know if that insurance is in place. Okay, I'll check it. You first can get your diagnosis. He was diagnosed. He was, went through surgery. Exactly at the same time, they divorced with his wife. So she kicked him out of home, and he had all this terrible experience with that. But now in May, he's calling me. That's like 2 years later. No, year and a half later. He's calling me and say, I want to come and see you. I came back. From where? From Australia. When did you join Australia? I made the trip of my life. I wanted to go to Australia. So I took my money and went to Australia. And now I'm going to India. So this guy decided to use his, I delivered the check at that time. That was $25,000. And he paid maybe not more than $7,000. When I was calculating, $5,000 to $7,000 he paid for that, all this year that he was paying like 5, 6, 7 years. But $25,000, he kept, I have $25,000. I'm going to give it to the kids. Obviously, he didn't give it to the kids. He went to Australia. But he decided to, this is the way, And there is another story that I had in the beginning of my, career as an insurance agent. It was maybe the first 3-5 years. A lawyer called me and told me, Maria, you go to that room with that lady. And the lady was all in black. But obviously, we don't just, happened, whatever it's happened in the family. And she said, I lock you in that room and you're not going out until she signs $1 million policy. For what? And I went to the room and I realized that the husband had a business. And the wife, who is there, was taking care of the 3 kids. And the oldest kid was 13. The other were younger. And the husband decided that paying $100 towards his policy was too much for him. When he was diagnosed with cancer, he stopped paying the policy because he decided it's too much. And he went to Hawaii to look for some treatment, went to Paris to look for some treatment. He finished all the money available. He had the business, but I had to go with this lady and find the way for her now to insure her, because she lost her house. She couldn't, so she didn't have any insurance. The husband left her without any insurance. And we were deciding what to do with the kids, because she went to the lawyer and told him, I need somebody to be a guardian in case I die. And the lawyer said, okay, what should I do with these kids? And she said, take care of them if I die. And the Lord said, okay, with what money? I said, there is a business, okay, what should I do with that business? That business is nothing to, so the situations that we are responsible for ourselves or for other people, like in that case, kids, and if we think that we would live forever and no money are needed for anything, face the reality, money are needed. And the best thing is your younger you to take care of your older you and to start thinking, what is that steps that you can do? And I'm giving free advice, so if any of you would like to sit with me, we can analyze your situations. There's so many products for every person, for every purpose, there for every budget. You can plan something, so in case something happened. And my biggest advice is to take care, of the possibility of sickness, because sickness usually takes more money than funeral. Sorry, but that's the case. A funeral can be $8,000, but the sickness might continue for years, and you can need much more than $8,000 to cover it. So there are these policies available, and there are so many on the market. So if you'd like, that's something that I can arrange for you, but that's something to consider. Talk to if you have to talk with husband, wife, kids, talk and consider this as a priority. Risk management is actually taking care of your dreams, of the ones that you'd like to be in the future, of your business. I had another client could his business continue working because he got the check of $100,000 and he's paying for his alternative this treatment in Germany, and he's going there, and he spent I don't know how much money, but his business is running because he didn't close the business, he didn't sell the business, and the business worth money, his business worth money. But he got the check, and he's able to keep the business, keep the house, and continue with the treatment. He looks terrific. He comes in, yes, I have that. The time of my life in Germany, in some woods they're going and they are receiving some alternative treatment. So the alternative treatments also is proven to be more, better than the chemotherapy. Sorry about this. But also in that insurances there is about 26 to 28 other sicknesses that are covered. So whenever there is multiple sclerosis, there is burns, there is so many other things, covered, kidney failure and transplant of organs and heart attacks, and all these things are covered with these policies. So my strong advice is, please, ladies. The other things, if some of you are older than 55, you have to start considering, do you want your kids to change your diapers? So there is long-term care insurance that they can, you can have like an income, tax-free. All this money from insurance are tax-free. So they come and you can put them towards your business, or you can put them towards your plans to travel, and you can do anything. But risk management is really important thing to consider.
And you have your card?
I have some cards. I don't have many. I don't have many cards. One thing that I wanted to give you, and I'm not sure if that is going to be invalid for you, but if you never done any budgeting, I can give you, a budget. You want some?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I have about 20 copies. So on the bottom of this is my name and one of my websites and my phone number. The best way to contact me is on the phone. You wanted something?
Hey, can I ask a question? Is there anybody here that's not in the part-time program or they're not in the full-time program? Is there anyone here that is not in either of these programs? Good. Because if there's a shortage, obviously we can just photocopy for each other, so you don't have to worry about making any questions.
No, I have some, like a Billy 20 copies, so I'm not sure how many people were here. 323 in the classroom. Okay. The other thing I wanted to tell you that I'm focusing a lot on the giving information on YouTube, so small videos. I have some videos over there. Okay.
Do you have some brochures and stuff over there?
These brochures are maybe they belong to here to the
Okay.
place. I have some other brochures which connecting to the loans and mortgage insurances. Though on these brochures, I forgot my stamp. Put the stamp. So the brochure is only information. So I have not many cards. I have few cards. Some of these cards are. But if you have the piece of paper, my phone number is at the bottom. Plus, if you put my name on internet, Maria N. Angelova, and you can see all my videos. I'll be continue putting some videos, and I might even do some more. I have some plans to do some interviewing. I'm working on a book about divorce, money, and mothers. So I'm going to do some interview about that topic. Plus, continue giving some financial planning things. So if you put my name, you're going to see all my information on the internet. I'm over there. Though I believe that this, can you see which, there is no email.